Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I crocheted this super cute striped mini dress. It's perfect for crocheters of any skill level, so let's get right into it. So for this dress I used Red Heart Super Saver yarn in white as well as Studio Classic by Nicole yarn in black, and then I also used a 4mm crochet hook. So for the top panels, I'm going to start with the black yarn and I'm going to chain either 26 for a size extra small, 30 for a size small, 34 for a size medium, 38 for a size large, 42 for an XL, and 46 for an XXL. And then I'm going to just chain one and turn. And then I'm going to double crochet here in my second chain from my hook. And then I'm just going to continue to double crochet in each chain across. So now I've gone ahead and fastened off and switched to white for round 2, and here I'm just slip stitching into my most recent stitch and chaining 1, which is not going to count as a stitch. And now I'm actually going to be working into the side of this double crochet from round 1. So into the side of that stitch I'm going to double crochet 5 times. So now that's done, I have my 5 double crochets here that were all made into that side stitch. Now I'm just going to continue to work around, double crocheting once into each of these stitches across to the end. So now I've just double crocheted in each stitch across. I'm now at the other end and I'm going to do the same thing here where I double crochet 5 times into that side of the last stitch from round 1. So you can see that's all finished up here. We have 5 double crochets into that side of that stitch. And now that I'm facing the opposite end of round 1, I'm also going to work a double crochet across the bottom of all of these stitches. So we will end up with kind of an oval shape where round 1 is completely covered by double crochet stitches in round 2. Okay, so I finished up here, and to end this round I'm just going to slip stitch here into that very first double crochet stitch I made to close the round. And so here's my oval and here's my stitch count. So I've just fastened off and I'm going to be going in with the black yarn again because we are switching colors at each round. And I'm just going to locate that middle stitch from one of the double crochet 5 groups of round 2, and I'll slip stitch into there to start. And you're going to start every round in that middle stitch going forward. And I'll chain 1, which will not count as a stitch. And now I'm just going to double crochet 5 times right into that middle stitch. All right, so now that that's done, I'm going to double crochet in each stitch across until I arrive at the other group of 5 double crochets. So now that I'm here, I'm going to locate that center stitch, and I'll just finish up double crocheting into each other stitch until I get to that stitch. And into that center stitch of the group of 5 double crochets, I'm going to make another 5 double crochet stitches. Now that that's done, I'm going to continue to double crochet in each stitch around until I arrive back at my very first stitch of the round. Okay, now that I'm back at my first stitch, I'm going to slip stitch into it to close the round, and then I'll fasten off and repeat this round. Okay, so I've just gone ahead and made both top panels, but I did not fasten off of the second one because that's going to help me with the connection here. So I'm just lining up the last 2 groups of 5 double crochets, and I'm going to just kind of loosely slip stitch through all 5 of those double crochets on each panel to join the 2 together. So here I'm just slip stitching through both stitches on each top panel in order to connect both top panels together by this side. Almost there. And it should be finishing up. All right, so now that they're connected, I'm just going to fasten off. And now that that's done, you can see they are both attached. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to line them up so that their final groups of 5 double crochets are touching one another. And then I will just do the same thing, slip stitch through both of those 5 double crochets on each top panel in order to join my piece into one large loop. Okay, so now both of them are connected, and this makes up the front of the dress. So the rest of the dress body is worked off of this shape. So you can see here it's kind of like the cup outlines on either end. And now we can move on to the dress body. So for the dress body, the first thing we're going to want to do is just mark these outer corners here with either a stitch marker or just a piece of yarn, because we're going to need to know where those outer corners are for the rest of the dress body. So I've just marked that corner there, and then I'm taking the white yarn, but you can also start with the black yarn in this case, since we'll be using both colors for each round of the dress body. And with this yarn, I'm just going to slip stitch into one of the connection points where you connected both of your top panels. Chaining 1 to get us started does not count as a stitch. And then I'm just going to begin to double crochet once in each stitch around, just as we were doing for the top panels. So far I'm just double crocheting in each stitch around, just like we were in the top panels, until I arrive at that marked stitch. So when I get to that marked stitch, I'm actually going to make a double crochet increase. into that stitch. So inside of that stitch, I'm going to just make 2 double crochets, which is a double crochet increase, and then I'll just continue on until I get to the other connection point where I will be switching colors. So just 1 double crochet in each stitch up into the connection point.
Hi. How you doing? It's been a shitty morning. Sorry to hear that. I don't know how much you've heard on that side.
So as you can see, we've gone around half of the top part of the dress with white. So now we're going to switch to the black yarn. So switching colors here. And then I'm just going to begin to do the same thing on the other side with the black yarn. So that will be double crocheting in each stitch around with the other yarn color until I arrive at that second marked stitch. So it is a little tricky to tell here, but I have arrived at that marked stitch, so I will be making another double crochet increase right into that stitch, and then just continuing to double crochet in each stitch around until I arrive back at my very first stitch of the round, which was with the white yarn. So now that I have arrived back at my very first double crochet of the round, I'm just going to slip stitch into it to close it off, and we are done with round 1. So to start off round 2, I'm gonna just keep going with the black yarn. It doesn't really matter which you start with, but in this case I'm starting off with the black yarn, and I'm going to just double crochet in each stitch across until I arrive at the stitch marker stitch. And after each round, you're going to want to move that stitch marker up just so you can keep track of where that point is. And in this stitch marked stitch, again, I'm just going to make a double crochet increase. And I'm not, if you notice, I have both yarns still attached because we are just going to be flip-flopping between them. There's no real need to fasten off and fasten back on with the same yarn, but you can, if you want, fasten off after each round and reattach. It's totally up to you. But I'm just going to continue to double crochet in each stitch around here, and as you can see, I'm back at where I left my white yarn. So now I'm going to pick that up and keep going. So really this will be how the rest of the rounds work out. You'll just be flip-flopping back and forth with different yarn colors and making double crochet increases when you arrive at your stitch marked stitches. So here I'm just double crocheting across, and at this stitch marked stitch I'm going to make a double crochet increase. So after that increase, I will double crochet into each stitch around, and then I will eventually arrive back at my first double crochet stitch of the round, which was with the black yarn. Okay, so now that I'm finished up, I am back at my first stitch. And to close this round, I'm going to just slip stitch into that first stitch to even it all out. So after repeating that round several times, you'll end up with this many stitches, and you'll see that all the colors are kind of zigzagged across. And now I can actually remove my stitch markers because we are done with the increasing. So the rest of these rounds are going to be made the exact same way. The only difference being we are no longer making a double crochet increase. So everything else is the same. As you can see in this case, I'm just starting with the white yarn. Does not matter which one you start with because I'm just going to be making a double crochet in each stitch around until I arrive back at where the black yarn is. And as you can see here, I've just arrived at last round's increase, and you'll notice that I am not making an increase here. I'm just going to double crochet in each stitch one time until I arrive back at where the black yarn is. So now that the entire dress body is complete, the last thing we need to do to wear our dress is just add these 4 straps at the top here in order to tie them around our shoulders. So I'm just going to slip stitch here into the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, or 18th stitch from the center, depending on what size you're making. And I'm going to make a chain of either 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, or 90, depending on what size you're making. And I will fasten off when I'm done. I made a chain of 40 for the size extra small, and that's really it. You're just going to repeat that 4 times on every single side of this top. And that is it. You are now done with your dress. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you liked it, please like and subscribe and leave any questions you might have in the comments below. Bye!